We're going to go credit by credit and make our way to Ted Lasso. But I always love talking about a lot of random things. So, in an effort to contain myself, I come up with 8 questions that I really want to ask, but I only roll the dice 3 times. And whatever 3 questions we get, that's what we're going with for the first portion of the show. 4 is called More TV, Please. If you could guest star on the show of your choice, what would you pick and why?
Ooh. Oh my God. Well, at the moment, I'd want to be someone absolutely revolting in Bridgerton. But I wouldn't want to be someone glamorous. I'd want to be an absolute arsehole with no makeup, some horrible wig, my boobs flattened down. And yeah, I'd want to be unrecognizable, kind of Game of Thrones style again.
And we've got a 7. That's a wrap. Strangest rap gift you've ever received?
My face lasered onto a tree chunk.
What was this for?
It was a wrap gift for a thing called The Only Boy for Me. And I undid it, and for the first time ever, could not style it out. I was like, that's my face on a piece of wood.
We got a 3. Filming 101. What is a seemingly silly question about the way that films and shows are made that you were afraid to ask when you first started out?
Ooh, that's a really good question. And the first thing that springs to my mind is on camera, they're like, no, because you're looking camera left, but he's camera right of you. And I still don't understand it, but I've just learned to be very good at styling it out. And I go, oh yeah, of course. Obviously, but it's the line. They talk about the line of looking left to right or right to left. And it's basically like the offside rule. I think most people say they understand it and most people don't.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back for a brand new episode of Ladies Night. I know I say this all the time, but I swear I'm especially excited for this one because I have one of the stars of Ted Lasso with me, Hannah Waddingham. Hello. And I cannot congratulate you on that show enough. Congratulate you and thank you because you and the team, I feel like there was no show that I needed in my life more than what Ted Lasso wound up being this past year.
Bless you. And who knew? My gosh, even us in it. I don't think we knew what it was going to be until we saw it all spliced together. And then all of us went, oh my God, this is a crazy privilege.
We have hit our second game of the episode. We are doing cast superlatives. So I'll give you the superlative and you tell me which Ted Lasso cast member best fits this descriptor and why.
Oh,
Life of the party.
Keely Jones.
Would that be Juno Temple?
Oh, Juno Temple, yeah.
Best footballer.
Can I say definitely not Roy Kent or Brett Goldstein? Oh God, if any of the boys watch this, I'm going to be in such trouble. I would say it's a toss-up between Phil Dunster as Jamie Tart and Tahib Jamo as Sam Obisanya. They're both demons. They can both really, really do it.
How about most likely to break out in song?
Hello, me.
Who could probably make the best biscuits?
Probably Brett Goldstein. Yeah, because he's a demon pie maker.
Most changed, like someone who changed the most from day one of making the show to where they are now.
Ooh, that's a hard one because I actually don't think people have changed. I think because we are a company of people who are not young in particular, I think what makes it a happy camp is that we all know who we are. And we all like to sit in the mix together. Nobody's trying to be more starry than anyone else. So I don't know. I'm going to have to pass on that one. I don't think anyone's really changed, and I think that's a good thing.
When you were first starting out in TV, I know you did a whole bunch of guest appearances on a variety of shows. Was there anyone in particular that made the biggest impression on you as far as helping you figure out what's important to you when signing on for something moving forward?
I think it was Game of Thrones, really. I'd done a lot before that, but it was the first time I had looked so utterly hideous in something. And I remember at the time, I walked into the makeup trailer and about 3 seconds later was vomited out. And they'd added in the hairs where you take them out of your eyebrows and stippled my cheeks and made me look bloodshot and all the rest of it. And at first, I was literally like the Edward Munch, like, scream picture. because I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be on international television looking like an absolute sack of shit. But once I'd got into her and into the fact that she is this deeply, deeply devout character who would have never looked in a mirror in her life, was there for the cause, for the Order of the Seven, and devoted to the High Sparrow. When a new makeup artist came along in season 6 and tried to do the no makeup, I was like, whoa, no. And it informed me so much about looking inwards instead of giving a shit what you look like on camera.
Can you walk us through the audition for something like that?
Well, for a start, I was just under 8.5 months pregnant at the time. And I went into this meeting and I was like, okay, bear in mind, I was only going there. I thought there's no way I'm going to get this part because I'm heavily pregnant and clearly just about to pop. So I went in very relaxed and I walked in and it was a room full of elderly women who were almost as wide as they were tall. And I was like, I even rang my agent and went, I'm not joking, I genuinely think I'm in the wrong place. Because, I'm 6'2" in heels. And with my pregnant bump as well, I was literally twice their height and probably half their age. And I was just like, I don't think this is right. And she went, oh no, did I not tell you you're their wild card? I walked in, did the audition, and it was the bit with the ladle feeding Cersei the water and then smacking her and I just got a bit too much into it. And it was a wooden spoon and a wooden bowl. And I accidentally, with my sweaty hand, flung the ladle at the casting director's shin. And when I was called in for my recall, David Benioff and Dan Weiss both went, by the way, we just have to tell you that your first take was hilarious because you're the scariest woman we've ever seen. And your gaze at the end of it was terrifying, like you were going to kill us. And then when you thought it had cut and you flung the ladle at the casting director's shin and went, oh my God, darling, I'm so sorry. They absolutely howled with laughter. They were like, who is this woman?
So this is going to sound ridiculously specific right now, but it's not every day that we have a one-word line of dialogue become so iconic. Was there any playing around with the way to deliver the word shame or any specificity involved there?
Well, David Nutter, the director, actually, when he and I first met, we were in Dubrovnik, Old Town, obviously, where King's Landing was set, certainly for season 5. And he called me into this kind of big boardroom in the hotel we were all staying in. He was like, look, I know that I don't need to go through this with you because of your singing background, but if you can find a pitch, and I'm appealing to you as a singer, as a musician, find a pitch, one, that you can maintain, and 2, that is something that she has done all her life because she is the henchman to the High Sparrow, and a tone that lets everyone know there's no mucking about with this character. And I stood at the other end of the room and I said, well, I hear her like this. And I did it. And he went, well, that's the shortest meeting I've ever had. I'll see you tomorrow.
I mean, is it kind of crazy that you've become a highly shareable meme because of that one word?
Crazy. I love it. I mean, what's not to love? And David and Dan loved the fact that everyone went nuts for that character as well. It's, she wasn't meant to come back in season 6, but they emailed me and said, look, everyone has loved the fact that somebody has finally come up against Cersei. We have to give her a really sticky end. Would you be up for it? And I was like, hello, yes, of course. So season 6 was such a welcome surprise.
All right. So Ted Lasso. I guess maybe let's start with the burning question first. Everybody wants to know, are the biscuits actually any good?
No. They taste like they possibly could have been a nice biscuit at some point, but had been left out in the air for weeks. I mean, they're better than they were last season, to be fair. I think because they've heard me complaining about them so publicly for so long, they're like, we better slightly improve them. So they're a little bit more buttery this time. Okay. But I always say to people, it's my own fault because I decided to make her an emotional eater as a result of Ted bringing them into her life. So no one's ever asked me to eat them as vociferously as I do. But I just feel that that's what she would do. And that's why I sniffed the box as well, because it's like her fix.
If you have not seen Ted Lasso in full, this is the point of the video where you push pause. You go binge it on Apple TV Plus, and I'm warning you, you're going to have to binge the entire thing straight through. Then when you come back to this video, all you do is press play, and it starts right here. So this is it.
I was pausing.
All right. So Rebecca starts out as a villain, teed up as a villain at least, and we hit the redemption at the end. But all throughout, I love how subtly the show adds moments of vulnerability that basically set up the fact that she is going on this journey. So what was it like kind of peppering those in? And were there ever any moments in the show where you guys kind of had to workshop how much you wanted to, show those cards?
No, because I think the writing is so exquisite that I was discovering her softness and her hard shell every day. I had no idea that she was going to have come from such a verbally abusive relationship. I had no idea of the arc with the old Rebecca, new Rebecca thing and the pregnancy and all of that. I had no idea. But bizarrely, what I'd created for myself as a backstory was that when she and Rupert got together, she probably would have been around 30, and that she was very keen to have children, and so put her own career on a back burner to try and convince him. He had always said that he didn't want to have children. This was all in my own head, that he'd never wanted to have children, and so she had chosen man or child, and she'd stuck with the man. And can you imagine how weird it was then when I was given episode 9 and Rupert comes in and says, no, I just didn't want a child, ... And honestly, that one scene that goes from on the verge of confessing to Ted, to the funniness of her embarrassment at talking, to Ted's rewinding the scene, to going out and thinking, no, I've got to be accountable for my shit. I've taught Keeley that you must be accountable. Then to see the switch of Rupert coming in and saying all of that, and then walking and telling Ted, that whole sequence that I think MJ Delaney just masterfully directed, that whole sequence, it gives me goosepimples just talking about it. That whole sequence, I had no idea that was going to be the storyline. But in my head, I had created that she was a woman who had missed the boat with her fertility.
I mean, you're just bringing some, like the baby reveal scene is one of the most crushing things that I've ever watched. And I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. That like one performance beat might be one of my favorite elements throughout the entire series, because when he delivers that line, the camera is on you and it's like mostly dialogue less, and you go through such a range of emotions just on your face, conveying a lot of that history that you just brought up and who she is now and trying to be strong in front of him. So I don't know, like I don't even have a good specific sub question. I just wanted to like ramble that out and ask you, what was it like doing that reaction?
Well, do you know what was amazing about that? We had shot Anthony Head's coverage during the day, and then they weren't going to be coming around for my coverage for some reason until later. And I think Anthony saw my face fall because we were so much in the moment. I think it was like over lunch or something. They were going to they went, oh, we'll come back to this after lunch. And I was just like, and he went, and he said, they said, Anthony, you've wrapped for the day, because the next bit was going to be me turning round to walk down the stairs to go and confess to Ted. And you know what that man did? This is what I mean about it being a company of theatre players. He stayed and waited, and before the camera rolled, he spat a load of nasty, shitty words about her and him in my ear so that when I turned round, I was back where I needed to be. That is special casting.
Goes back to the value of a scene partner. That's the stuff I love hearing about. I have to let you, I could ask you a million more questions about all your projects. Too easy to talk to, but I gotta let you go. And I cannot congratulate you enough on Ted Lasso and everything you've accomplished. Thank you for hanging out with us on Ladies Night.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure.